Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Someone has to open.
Welcome back to the Dance Arts Monday podcast. Rachel,
Hi.
welcome back too.
That's not actually my full name, but it's okay.
Rachel Big Dog
Back to back.
Beaton.
Bill Rowan.
Bill Rowan.
Specialist.
Now we're just talking about medals.
Beaton.
Beaton.
I thought you rehearsed.
Oh, we rehearsed.
I thought you took this seriously.
We take
I
Comrades
thought you took
seriously.
me seriously.
Sometimes no one takes you seriously with those times.
Please bring forward some names.
Bravo.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
But honestly, thanks. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's been some time.
It has. It has. Since the last time, I did Comrades again, if you weren't aware.
Where's your medal? I thought you would have brought it.
That's actually such a good point. I do have my medals with me. I should put them on.
See, if the medal ain't here, we don't know
I
if
should
it's
actually
actually
put my
there.
medals
Did you
on.
bring it?
I did. Of course I brought them.
Oh, did you? Were you
They come
hiding it in
everywhere
your
with me.
jacket?
It's a medal tour
Are
for
you
the
hiding
next
it in
month.
your jacket or what?
No, it's in my bag. Shall I go get them?
In a bit. But in studio, new studio today.
First time.
First time. It's actually beautiful. And we've got a beautiful background. I mean, it doesn't look like winter, but it is.
It is winter, I promise. We've been very cold.
We've been
So,
very cold but rainy, but today has been showing off.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a busy morning for me and Joel, but Joel's in studio with us today.
Yeah,
How's the man?
Good. It was a tough morning. We actually did a bit of Ironman training. So we did a
Ironman?
Did you do anything this morning? Did you train?
Did I do anything this
Yeah.
morning? I've had a full morning.
Do tell.
Well, I woke up at about 10, and then I went and had breakfast at Jared's, and then I bought a bottle of champagne,
I forgot that
and then I came here.
I forgot that you're sponsored by Jared's.
I am.
Like, who are you not sponsored by? You got the nitros on. Is that
That's a prime question. Yes. Yeah, no, huge morning for me. But I heard you went on a 6-kilometer run, which must have really taken it out of you. How
Listen,
are
it
you
was-
feeling after
It
that?
was post an 85k ride, so just.
It was, yeah, but you didn't do that.
And it
did
was a
you?
progressive run, and to be honest, it wasn't in the plan.
Where did
it
you
wasn't in the
where
training
did you
peaks.
progress to?
We started at 4:50.
Not the Comrades, from what I've heard.
We started at 4:51 and I ended at 4:25, and you?
for 425, 420.
Huh.
So we're trying to keep up with you.
Yeah.
But tell us, what have you been up to since the last time we chatted?
It was
Wow.
4 months,
But
4 months ago,
was it
right?
4
Feb.
months? Was it Feb?
Yeah. So the last time I spoke to you, I was busy trying to decide whether or not I was even going to do ultramarathons this year
Yes, it was
because
the knee,
of
right?
my ITV, my friend ITV. But yeah, I managed to come right.
Couple injections later, or?
No injections this time. For the record, there was no injections
Just
this
for some
time.
history, she went through a
Let's not talk about Cape Town Marathon. Let's not talk about it.
barrage of cortisone.
But yeah, I managed to come right with a little bit of activations before runs and whatnot.
Little PT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we seem to be going well. I mean, another Bill Rowan at Comrades.
Was it a long recovery? Like, did you take? I mean, I remember you said
I
you
took
started.
12 weeks off completely.
That must have been tough mentally.
Yeah, it was. I was losing my mind. Yeah. I was a bit of a weapon at that point. But then.
Is that when I saw the jaw link come through on Insta?
that was that. Yeah. Had to entertain myself somehow. Then in January, I started running again, but I could literally hardly run 5Ks. So if I had spoken to you in February, I think we went for a run about 15 Ks.
We did, yeah. We ran 15. I remember you were struggling.
If I remember that day, I think we stopped halfway and had a beer. So that was.
I mean, on that.
You went with us
on
for
that
that.
note, so congratulations to me for 5 months sober, yes, sir.
I thought it was the 6 kilometer run as
Recrack
well.
this one.
Yes, please.
Okay. So when did you kick off Comrades training then?
Well, in
This is
January.
the Heineken Zero, just bottled.
I was like, we're starting from scratch, but we're going to get ourselves to Comrades. That was always the plan. And luckily my knee managed to hold it together. I had a bit of a scare after Oceans, because for about a week or so, I was like, ooh.
Okay, wait, we're jumping around. So to the lead up to Oceans,
Yeah.
you did the 56. Did you PB the 56, or was there just
I
like
actually
get through?
did PB the 56 by 1 minute.
I mean, 1 minute's 1 minute,
1
right?
minute's 1 minute.
And
Yeah.
did you go into it like, woo!
Whoa! Hello.
I can't wait to hear that noise in a couple months after the Ironman.
Well, you got to hear the noise now.
No, I'm just
You
saying,
can
but then
live
I actually get to
vicariously.
reap the benefits of having a sip of
Right,
alcohol.
yeah.
But Rach, was that the... So I'm trying to think now. Ooh.
Stay calm.
Panic.
What race did you have before to Oceans? Was there anything in lead up?
So I did do a marathon before Oceans, like an actual race, the Dolphin Coast in Umhlanga. And that was actually quite a nice marathon, but I just did it as like a training run. But the training run turned out to be the same time I had previously done as a race. So I was quite happy with where my body was in terms of conditioning.
And the dolphin run, how far was that?
the marathon.
Oh, I didn't hear you say marathon, sorry.
It was 42.2 Ks. On my watch, 42.3.
Okay.
And then
Overachiever.
Comrades, however.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. No, so that run went well. So I was like, okay, I think I might actually have another Sainsbury on the cards for Oceans.
Cheers,
and then I did
cheers,
manage to
cheers,
get
cheers.
it.
Thanks for coming back.
Cheers. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
joining.
me.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so then Oceans went quite well. It was an absolute mess. I had people seconding me, my mates. They missed me at 15 and 30 Ks. So I got my first carbs at 43 kilometers.
Did you not carry anything with you?
So I had some gels with me, but my strategy was very much liquid
Rely on
based.
your
Like,
mates.
I had like carb drink that I had with me.
And are they allowed, when they're second year, they're allowed to actually come on course and just do a bit of a jog, or they just have to hand it to you?
No, they just have to hand it to
I
me.
don't think
Okay.
you'll be allowed on course.
You're not allowed on
Yeah.
course. Someone actually got in trouble. That said, one of my mates did jog up
You
half
need,
of
you need a
Constantia
media
with me.
person like I had in Durban, and then you can come on course, which is quite
You got
nice.
your media badge.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Glorified seconding media badge. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Oceans went as well as one could hope based on
So
the...
did you start donking at 43?
Yeah, the last 15 was quite rough.
Hit the wall.
Because I just didn't have enough carbs in my system.
Glycogen at a
Yeah.
zero.
So up until 43 Ks, I felt fantastic, and then the rest
And
was just a slog.
Where's 43 along that route? Is that where you start going from Heart Bay?
Just
into-
before you hit Constantia.
Okay.
So not really
Oof,
where you
that
want to start feeling like
hectic
you're hitting a
hill.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually not as long as I remembered it, but it's very
Which is
steep.
interesting while you were struggling.
Yeah. But I was
then
walking.
normally
I
it's when
walked
you're
up that hill.
struggling-
I walked up that hill though.
I mean,
Yeah,
when
but
you're
you-
walking, it's not long.
You've done it before, right?
Yeah, I did it
So-
last year as well.
Okay, and was that your first one?
That was my first one
The
last
first
year.
time's always the worst.
Oh, I like this episode.
cheeky.
Mm.
Yeah, so carry on. So after that?
So then after that, I went and I was quite happy with where I was at. I was like, okay, I think maybe there might be another Bill Rowan on the cards if I manage to stay not injured.
And just for the listeners, Bill Rowan is what for the...
So sub 9 at Comrades, sub 9 hours. So under a 6 minute K. And then I did a marathon on the prom, solo. Don't know if you saw that. Quite a big fuss.
Did a marathon on the prom.
Solo, back and forth,
That's crazy.
Up and down.
up and
Super
down.
flat.
So I managed, so if you go from Saunders to the end of New Prom, like you know that new section.
that
they
new
got, the
little Mully Point section.
New Prom, it's like 300 meters. And then back round, it's about 8 Ks. So I had to do that 5 times.
Was
and
that
I
just-
hid some bottles in a bush, and then I would come back, pick up my bottle, carry on.
Perfect seconding.
Perfect seconding. And then the security guard for the cars stole my bag with my bottles, and it had my sleeves in it, my running sleeves. And so I went back and I was like, listen, Brie, like, you can keep the bottles, but like, please, can I have my sleeves back? And he pulls them out of his backpack. He goes, here you go. Serious, yeah. I was like, thank you so much. What a note, okay? Guarding the cars and also my sleeves.
And the sleeves? What are the benefit of the sleeves?
Of sleeves?
From the
Yeah.
sun.
Oh, I thought it was like a compression thing.
No, well,
What?
I wear them to
Yeah.
keep, I wear them,
Like
like
for your forearms.
legs.
I
like
wear them
for
to
your
keep
legs.
warm. No, they're like,
Oh, they're warmers.
They warmth and then obviously sunburn protection.
when sunburn
Don't you
protection.
overheat?
Well, I took them off because it was hot.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I took them
Well, at
off.
least you get them back.
He did give them back, yeah. But anyway, be advised. Your sleeves aren't safe.
And then after?
And then after that, it was basically...
But was that just a...
I did a 50-kilometer run also, but that was a mess around.
But do you have a coach, or is it yourself
No.
just...
I have someone that I consult for my speed sessions.
Someone you consult with.
Yeah, I consult with. I like ask them.
So what did a
Is
week?
this a good session? Yes or no?
So yeah, what
What did a week of training look like then?
Somewhere between 70 and 90 Ks. And two main sessions. So one of the sessions would be a speed session of some kind, like back-to-back 10 Ks or 10 minutes on, 2 minutes off, or like something like that. And then the other session would be a long run of some kind. So,
with intervals in the long run?
Yeah, maybe intervals in the long run or progression.
And hill training, or I mean for the down run?
So this is interesting. Not a single piece of hill training my entire build-up. So
That's quite beast then. Still to get the medal you got. I don't know.
So obviously
Paul
I
Rowan.
live right on the prom. I like running on the prom. I hate running up hills.
You ran a
And
marathon on the prom. You
It
must
was
love
brought to
running
my attention.
yeah, 8K repeats.
Yeah, I love the prom. It was brought to my attention that hill training does not have as many benefits as people think it does. And that also running up hills isn't going to make any difference. Like if you do a long run, maybe put some hills in it, but it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So I was like, you know
a little
what?
bit of glute strength, a little bit of
I was
hammy
like, you know
strength.
what? Let me try this. Let me try this theory. And there seems to be some merit to it.
I mean, fair enough.
Most
but
people would say you can never run Comrades without hill training. Come on.
I mean, yeah, because I was doing some research into the down run because I found it super interesting. I mean, I watched most of the race,
Yeah.
which is long. And
Well, not if you're me.
I sat in bed and
Not
just watched.
if you're me. What do you mean? I packed up, went home, and then watched the end.
That's beast. But I heard the first 60 Ks is hills, and then only after the last 30 is down.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first 42 kilometers is actually very hilly. It's a very hilly marathon. I think it's got almost 1,000 meters of elevation, which is a lot for a marathon. And then basically
1,000 meters of.
almost, I think it's like 800 for the first marathon.
Jeez.
And then after that, then it starts going down. So the second marathon is definitely net down, but I think maybe like 200 meters of elevation. Like it is still hills, but it's not a lot.
And leading up to Comrades, did you go up like a week early? Did you taper off, and then do you have like
I
a
went up
schedule
on,
that you do? Because obviously you don't have a coach, but I mean, like for us, we have to taper 2 weeks out before Ironman. So I can imagine for a 90K
yeah.
run, it must be quite intense.
So my plan was to start the taper 3 weeks out. So bring the mileage down 3 weeks out.
So you're doing about 90 a week, and then you're bringing it.
Bring it down to like 60 and then 50 and then nothing basically on the week of. But that did not go to plan because I got very, very sick with the flu.
Week of.
So 2 weeks out, I got very sick.
Yeah.
And I actually was sick when I started I went on antibiotics. I tried all sorts of different things, but I just wasn't coming right. Literally until 3 days out, I was lying in bed, couldn't get out of bed. And then I started to feel a bit better. Went to the expo, was feeling okay.
3 days. Ah, geez, you must have been panicking.
I was so panicked. My doctor was calling me every day to check how I was doing because he was so scared I was going to have a heart attack on the route. He was like,
shout out to the doctor for looking out.
I know, he was an asshole actually. But anyway, by the time I got to the start line, my body was feeling probably about 70%, but my congestion was still really bad. So the whole run, my nose was running and it was quite unpleasant.
Head.
It was
It wasn't down.
I managed to keep it out of my chest.
Yeah.
But the issue was I just had very full body fatigue. When you got that flu.
Almost like a chronic fatigue.
Yeah, and I just felt exhausted up until the day. So I was very worried that I wasn't going to be able to do it. But anyway, we came right. I did it last year as well. I was sick last year as well.
So both, how many Comrades you done now?
2.
And both times you've been sick?
Both times I've been sick. So I think if I can arrive at the start line fresh, that might be the day my stars align for a much better time.
What was your time the last time?
Last year I did 8:49. This year I did 8:51, but keep in mind it was 4 kilometers longer this year.
Okay, why did they
I
extend
told
it?
you it was long ago, but we had a chat and I was like, dude, it's longer this time.
I know.
Because I read about it.
So, and my watch said 91 Ks actually.
Yeah.
Because I think because of weaving and stuff. But
There was also roadworks or something we had to go somewhere else.
Yeah, we had to get re-looped around somewhere. But it was officially 90 Ks. But my watch says 91. But I don't know. But yeah, anyway, last year was only 86.
Okay.
So
only 86.
But is it usually, I thought it's always 89 Ks. Is it usually?
Usually the down run is longer.
Okay.
I think they make the up run shorter because it is much more challenging to run up for 86 Ks or 87 Ks.
Okay.
But what is the differential, do you know?
What do you mean?
The up run. So if you're doing 1,100 vert in the down run, is the up run 1.5?
No, the up run's 2.
2,000 meters of...
Yeah. No, it's straight. You feel like you're running straight up. It's funny because when you're coming down, you kind of notice there is actually quite a lot of going up in the down, which means there's a lot of going down in the up. But because there's so much up, you don't really even notice that down, to be honest.
I mean, maybe it's a stupid question, but isn't that just the reverse route?
Yeah, it is. It's the reverse route. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But when you're running up, it feels like you just run up the whole day. Last year, I don't remember going down much.
Okay, so question, when you're training for the up, do you have to do hills in your training?
That's a great question. I guess we'll find out.
Oh, you've only done 2 downs?
No.
No, last year.
Last year
I thought this... All right.
Last year I did do hill training, but I also injured myself doing hill training. That's one of the ITV triggers.
Go too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, with the kind of mileage you're doing, are you doing any type of strength?
So I call it Pilates, or I record it as Pilates, but it is essentially...
Fake it till you make it. You're recording it as Pilates, but she's on the prom, stretching her legs.
I record it as Pilates, but I'm actually on a walk on the prom. No, I do strength training, but it's not really. So it's
Couple squats on the prom.
lightweight squats on the prom. But yeah, essentially that. So it's weights, banded exercises. I was doing anyway, leading up to Comrades, once every second day I'd do 20, 25 minutes. So just get everything activated. Because one of the issues, one of the way that I've fixed the ITB issue is by activating the glutes. So before I run, always 10 minutes of activating. So you want it to be firing before you even
Is
start
that like
running.
band work and
Band
stuff?
work, yeah. You want it to be warm. Because otherwise, like when you're running, maybe the wrong muscles, like maybe your quads are being activated instead of your glutes. Whereas if you like warm it up, then everything works as it's supposed to. Like your running economy is better.
Do you manage to get that in even for training runs?
Yeah. So before every run, I
Yeah.
activate now.
Have you ever had an issue with IDV?
No. And I don't do that.
No,
And
I
you
think I
should.
need to do that.
It's probably because you haven't run 90 Ks.
That's
You might have an
fair.
issue after the 90
Okay,
Ks.
okay. Guess.
Yeah.
His longest run and my longest run to date.
Have you done an Ironman?
No.
Yeah.
We've done a
Neither
half.
of you have
We've
done
done a
Ironman.
half.
Surely you've done a
Oh.
marathon then, at some points in time.
Not road.
I haven't done a marathon.
Not road.
Yeah.
You went for a walk in the mountains for a couple hours.
I've done a trail.
He's done, what, three peaks?
I've done, 3 peaks.
Which
Okay.
is like
How many
3,000.
is that a marathon?
50
3
Ks.
50 Ks,
50 Ks.
but that's 3,000 meters of vert on the mountains. It's,
Green Market Square
Yeah.
to Devil's
Yeah,
Peak.
but I mean,
Green
vert isn't a
Market
problem when
Square.
you're walking.
Excuse me? What is that?
What did you say to me? Well, how long did it take you to walk 50 Ks in the mountain?
8 hours? 7.5 hours?
Right.
Mine's 25
So while I'm
Ks.
doing
Mine's
90 Ks.
Mine's 25 Ks. I'm smart.
25? And you're going to go do an Ironman now? What is your longest training run going to be?
So I've been chatting to my coach, and apparently anything over 36 is kind of
Yeah, it's overkill. You don't
yeah
need to.
overkill.
Yeah.
So I'm aiming. We were
36.
talking about it yesterday. I think 35
Okay.
would be. But obviously, with brick sessions cycling into running, I think our longest brick will probably be 25.
I always like to do
Yeah.
37 because then it's like one park run left. It's like, okay, I'm just
Okay,
going to do
fair
one more
enough.
park run.
Okay,
after
so
this.
was leading up to your marathons, pre-Comrades and stuff, was that your
yeah,
go-to?
37, yeah.
And
I
you
like
found it
the 37.
I mean, because I've been thinking about it a lot because I come from a swimming background at school, and the bike is, there's no load. So for a run, I've never run a running race. The Absa 10K was my first running race I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
But
Did you win?
Excuse me?
Did you win?
I didn't win, but I got a PB.
Oh.
But I started at the back, which is not fun.
Why did you do that?
I got there late.
Terrible qualifying time.
But
I think they actually put me in group like G or something, so I can't really comment.
yeah,
But I did run it the day after running 50 kilometers. So I ran 50
I think
kilometers.
I saw you there. I saw you at the Absa thing afterwards.
Yeah. I ran 50 kilometers on the Saturday, and then I woke up and I did the 10K.
Jeez.
That's what I'm saying. Like all this mileage, it's so taxing. That's the one thing I'm worried about going to the full Ironman is coming off a 180K bike, knowing you have to run 42, but I'm just putting in my head 4 laps of 10 and some change, because it is laps, and it's not like you're trying to go for your PB, and that's kind of just survival. But it's like when you're in Comrades, and I'm sure there's a point where you like have to channel your inner prime self, but
You mean Big Dog?
Big Dog.
Yeah.
But what do you do?
what I
What do you
thought.
do in those situations? Because you've talked about hitting the wall in oceans,
Yes.
and your glycogen just at an all-time low. Is it
Yeah.
just mental fortitude? Is there like a motto you live by? Is there some sort of memory you
So
go back to?
I think last year it was just mental fortitude. This year, because I'm a more experienced runner and I've done a lot more long runs now, I actually worked it out the other day. I've done 12 marathons, but if you include Comrades, it's 2 marathons, and I've done 14,
And you're 23, 24 now.
24.
Crazy.
So I
what have
do
we done?
actually
We're
have.
really
Look,
far,
look
bro.
after those knees.
Yeah, I know. Got to keep them safe.
If you keep the doctor close, but it's a quick injection, ready to go.
So I do actually have like a fair amount of experience with long distance running now, right? So I know from experience that when you feel like you've hit the wall, it's only a period of time before you're going to feel okay again.
If you
If
take
you're
on
continuing
nutrition.
to take on nutrition.
Yeah.
So like at Comrades, for instance, I felt actually, I didn't feel great for the first 20 Ks. I felt like I was struggling to get into it because I hadn't been running for so long because of the illness.
Maybe the sickness.
Yeah, so I think my body was just like not really feeling it. But at about 20 Ks, I managed to get into a rhythm, and I stayed in that rhythm until like 70 Ks. So like for 50 Ks straight, I felt good. Everything was fine. Nutrition was fine. Then at about 70 Ks, I missed a bottle. I didn't feel like drinking it.
Okay, did you feel like your tummy was just full?
Yeah, I was like,
many
I
gels
don't
did you
think
put
I
down by
need
then?
it because I'd put down an extra gel. So I was like, I don't
Because
think
I
I
think
need
I
it.
remember seeing an Insta of yours or something that you said you wanted to put down 18. Or
Yeah,
was it a bit
so
more than
I
that?
changed my strategy last minute to be more drink-based because I managed to find.
Because 18 gels is ludicrous.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be overkill. I actually did that last year, but I was like, I think
And
it's
it turned
better
into a
to
gel.
rather have a double barrel strategy. So I went drink and 2 gels per 20 Ks. So I had like a 20K strategy.
No hard carbs.
No, nothing.
Too much, too hard on the digestive system when you're running like a...
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
individual based, right? Personal.
I think I'm
So-
lucky in the sense that I have quite a strong stomach. So I can take down gels like usually with no issue.
But on hitting the wall, I mean, so my understanding of hitting the wall is when you're not taking your nutrition at the
Yeah.
right times.
Yeah.
That's purely, it's
Yeah.
not just, it's going to happen
Yeah.
in your
No,
first
so I
marathon.
mean, it's 100% true what you're saying, because obviously I did the 70.3 in Dibs, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago. I came off the bike and I overcarbed on the bike. I was taking, by mistake, I took a bottle from the back that I thought was electrolytes, put it into my front section, and ended up
Okay.
taking 120, 140 grams.
Yeah, and then
of
you
carbs.
upset your stomach.
My stomach was
Yeah.
so hectic on the first 3Ks of that run.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, I've overcarbed, so let
Yeah.
me not take on anything for a while.
yeah,
And then I got lost in the course.
yeah.
Then I was trying to figure out my way, so I didn't take anything on the run. And K17, actually maybe K16, I hit the wall hard. Those
Okay.
last 5Ks or so
Yeah,
was the hardest 5Ks of my life.
yeah. Did you try and take something during that
I
time?
didn't. I just said stick
It's
it
kind
out
of
now.
too late.
It's just too late.
Yeah,
It's
because it's
like-
going to take 30 minutes to kick it.
It was
anyway.
quite an
For
interest-
5Ks, yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting. I was explaining to Ollie this morning. We went on a ride for Diet Sauce Monday. We go every Thursdays and Saturdays with a few of us and
Shameless promotion.
plug.
Slide.
But if anyone wants to come out,
Did you say Thursday? What time on Thursday?
but I heard this analogy the other day, which I thought was quite interesting. This girl, I think she was from High Rocks. She explained our bodies like between a car and a cell phone. So we're not a car. You can't just go up to a gas station.
So I'm not a car.
Not a car.
Okay.
You can't
I'm
just
glad
go.
we
You
got
can't just go
that
up to a
straight.
petrol station and fill yourself up with petrol, and then all of a sudden you're good to go again.
I haven't
You-
tried
you-
it, but
you
I
like-
wouldn't.
You like a cell phone. So if your battery's going all the way down, you have to keep it topping it up
Right.
the whole time. Instead of you going down to 5%, you can't just.
Right.
It's going to take an hour to recharge.
Right.
So it's quite an interesting analogy that you just keep getting in the carbs, even if you don't want to.
It's not an instant.
It's not an instant
Yeah.
reaction. And once your glycogen stores are gone and you hit the wall,
Yeah.
it's honestly like dying.
But when you go to that dark place and you come back from it, you're like relieved.
Yeah.
You're actually.
Yeah, because you can feel yourself coming right,
Yes.
actually.
I know, I don't feel anything coming right.
Wait, yeah, if it's long enough and you can get
I could
to
have
that
crawled
place.
over that finish line, bro.
But yeah, I was honestly like, all in all, I'm quite happy because like to get to 70 Ks feeling good is not bad.
No,
Like you
that's
can't really
great.
complain about that because that leaves you only 20 more Ks to knock out. So it wasn't bad. The last 20 Ks was rough, but I mean,
And-
it's like, you can't really expect to feel fantastic at 70 Ks in, to be honest.
How do you portion? Do you portion into 10s? Do you portion into half marathons?
In my head,
Yeah.
I was doing 20K segments.
Okay.
Yeah. So like 20, 20, 20, 20, 10. That's
And
it.
you found like that mentally was enough for you to comprehend and
It
break
was
down.
because it was also how I was doing my
Your nutrition.
my nutritioning. So like my nutritioning was working on that. And funny enough, like you get to a certain point that you don't really want to take on any more gels, and you're like, it makes you actually not want the time for the gel to come, which also helps psychologically because you're like, oh, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready at 40 Ks. Now I've got to take another gel.
Gel time.
You know?
And some advice if someone was prepping for their first Comrades, like, don't run hills.
Yeah, don't run hills. Do not come to the prom. I would say you can't be 100% prepared. Like it's impossible to really properly prepare to run 90 Ks. Like you're never going to, like something's going to go wrong on the day. But don't overdo mileage. I feel like so many people overdo mileage. They're actually doing way too much. So I did 500 kilometers less mileage this year than I did last year.
Ooh, so wait, how much mileage do you do in a year? It must be crazy.
Well, so when I say year, so
500
it's from the
kilometers.
beginning of the year to Comrades Day. So last year I think I did 1.7 or 1.8 before Comrades Day, and this year I did 1.2.
You did 1.7 in the first half of the year.
Yeah. Whereas this year I did
I got a 350 last year.
only 1.2. So it's a huge difference, but my time was better technically because it was 4 kilometers longer.
And that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that recovery is just as important as the training,
100%.
if not more important.
And the only reason I learned that is because of the ITV. It's because it held me back and I had to be more careful. I couldn't be, like last year I was clocking 100 kilometer weeks, but it's unnecessary, it's not needed.
Youthful exuberance.
Yeah. So whereas this year I was much more careful, I rather did quality sessions, rather push myself in those sessions and do less mileage. And it's worked really well for me and it's going to be the strategy I continue going forward. So I'd say my one piece of advice would be like really look at what kind of running are you doing? Like, is it helping you or is it just junk miles?
Another question, from a technical point of view, does the shoe matter?
Does the shoe matter? Well, yeah, I suppose the shoe does matter. In what sense?
Well, in the sense that, I don't know, I've become a bit obsessed with tech when it comes to bikes and to shoes. And
yeah, I actually remember you were saying this last episode.
Yeah, everyone,
like really into
these
shoes.
days,
like really into, I'm like, okay, how into
I grew up with shoes. I worked for Vans for 17 years.
Most people grew up with shoes. I also wore shoes growing up. Like, that's not a unique experience. You're not special.
So special. But no, like, these days there's a everyday trainer, there's a tempo shoe, there's a race day shoe, there's a shoe for bloody everything. And I know you grow up with shoes, but now there's extra shoes.
So I have, because obviously of the content and stuff, I do have brands sending me shoes. So I've got the privilege of trying a lot of different shoes.
So you're not affiliated with all those brands, they just send you tests like...
So I'm not currently on contract with any specific brand. So I work like with a lot of them.
So we can actually like talk about...
So we can actually talk about this.
So we can shame some shoes.
we can shame shoes. But with that, what is ultimately your question? Are you saying what's the best shoe for that kind of distance, or?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people get, I mean, even myself in the beginning, I got caught up on plated shoes. You know, everyone wants to run in plated shoes, but sometimes carbon plated shoes are actually to your detriment because it's so hectic on your muscles.
Well, it depends on your biomechanics.
100%. But people were just going to like, oh, I want a plated shoe, I'm going to run faster. If you're running over 5 minutes a K, plated shoe is pointless.
100%.
So it's just
and there was a lot of people running in plated shoes on Comrades.
I saw
multiple alpha flies. I came past alpha flies. We're running at a 6 minute K, remember?
No, you see, like that's just, it's like crazy to think if someone's running an alpha fly that's running 6 minutes. Okay, I know it's 90 Ks. But
so like, I think depending on someone's biomechanics. So I think if you are the kind of person that is naturally gifted with a very smooth running form and very economic running form, you can probably get away with running Comrades in a carbon plate just because you're not experiencing those overpronation issues. The hips are staying in line. Like just the way that you're running caters to having a carbon on. But if you're me and you have overpronation issues, I would never be able to run that far in a carbon plate because I would be pronating. Probably to the point that I would injure myself before I got to the end.
Pronating outside or the inside?
Going in, so I go in.
Yeah. Is it anti-net? What is the way on the outside? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, carry on.
I thought you were like really into shoes.
I'm really into shoes, but not so much into biomechanics.
Not about the feet.
Not so much into biomechanics.
So shoes actually go on feet, which is like the fun part.
Do they?
Yeah. What was I saying? So for me, I need like a shoe that has a little bit more support, especially to run that far, and even in training.
So do you have a shoe rotation? And if so, what is it?
I do have a shoe rotation. My current favorite shoe is actually a Puma shoe.
The Nitro or the...
The Deviate 3s, the new Deviate 3s. And I say actually because 6 months ago, a year ago, I would have never said that Puma would be my shoe of choice.
Puma are coming out with some crazy shoes. They got the Puma Fast R Nitro Elite 3, which they say is now the fastest running shoe in the world.
Yeah, I have that one.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I went to Boston for that launch.
Oh, wow. Because I've heard it's wild.
It is wild. I actually should have brought them in to show you. They're very cool.
Yeah. But at 8,000 Rand, it's a bit of a stretch.
$8,000?
Yeah, it's 300 USD.
You think that's
so
expensive?
whatever that is.
The new Adidas Evo Pros, whatever they're called, 12 grand.
No, that's ridiculous.
And it gets even worse.
Are these places?
You can only run one marathon in there.
What?
That's what they say.
Oh yeah, the Evos.
You
That's
can only
what
run one
they're
marathon in there.
So you can't run the Comrades.
So you enter the marathon and you get 12 grand, and that's how much a marathon.
Yeah, you would need two for Comrades. You'd have to buy one for the first half and one for the second half.
And people buy them. They're like sold out.
But if you were to pick out of the top like 3 carbon shoes right now, which is obviously the Evos, the Alpha Flies, or the Fast R's, what would you take?
Well, it's hard to say that because I've never run in either 3. I mean, I have a pair of Saucony Pro 4s and they are great. I ran in them today when we did the program.
Saucony Pro 4s?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually don't know. I haven't really run in Saucony, so I should probably
Have you run
I mean,
in
they were
the
reasonable price. They were still 6.5 grand.
I've run in 2 of the 3. I've done Alpha Flies and I've done Fast R's.
I can't buy Nike anything. I can't. So I'd probably buy the Fast 3s because you can do more than one marathon in them.
Well, they still have a maximum mileage of 300 Ks.
Yeah, but 300 Ks is at least...
Which actually means you can probably only do about 200 in them. 250.
Yeah, but I
maybe.
mean,
Or you can squeeze out a few more.
you could probably squeeze out with the
Or you can do
bounces.
600 over the best.
But the technology in that shoe is wild. But you must check it.
Yeah.
The Puma Fast R3. It's got
Yeah.
like 2 sections, and it's got like a black middle thing that's like.
And it's
It
actually-
only gives you 300 Ks, bro. That's what's that? 6 prom marathons. That's done.
It's like her January of running.
But what's interesting though is when you wear that shoe, it forces you to run on the front of your foot, which is different to an Alpha Fly. Because with the Alpha Flies, you can still run how you would normally run. So for me, I'm a mid-foot to back of the foot runner. But when I put on the Fast R's, like you have to run on your toes because there is actually nothing
But
at the back.
surely that then affects your biomechanics with your
100%.
with your
Destroys your calves.
your cars must get torched.
Well, yeah, you would have to, like if I was to choose that as my running shoe of choice and I was going to do all my sessions in it, I would literally have to train my body to run in a different way to what I currently am running.
And strengthen.
And strengthen,
Yeah.
exactly.
So they do this test where they put like a tube into the shoe and they put like a solid silver metal ball and they like drop it from the same distance and it hits the plate to see how far it goes out.
Okay.
And then you can see how much bounce it obviously has.
Okay.
And
Because we're
the
ultimately
Adidas
just
one
a
has
mental
like,
ball
it
at
goes
the
to
end
like
of the day.
This is a very technical,
it goes to like 80 mils.
scientific, appreciate it.
And then they also do the test where you put your shoe on the floor and then they squeeze it and see how far it can jump. It can jump across the whole room. It's crazy. These shoes are crazy. I
Look
love
how
them.
excited he is. He really is into shoes.
I saw you doing some shoe testing, but was this in Boston?
Yeah,
when
so
you
that
were
was
there?
in.
Tell
So
us
that
about
was
the
that was
Boston
for.
trip.
So that was for the Fast R. So, yeah. So,
So
around the Boston Marathon time, they were launching the Fast R shoe. So they had like a whole setup there, and yeah, it was very cool. We went with Puma South Africa and like a couple of other people went along, and we made content about the shoes, tried the shoes, tested the shoes.
First time in the
Um,
States?
First time in the States, America.
Also,
Boston.
Boston Marathon. That's one of the big
Boston.
ones. So that's
Boston Marathon is one of the big ones. I know I had a lot of FOMO that I wasn't able to run it.
When is the Boston Marathon? Do you know what time of year?
What the date was.
Must be summer because it's freezing in Boston. once
Yeah,
it's-
it was late April, I think. It wasn't that cold though. It was like autumn.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying when the actual marathon. Or did you just miss the marathon? Was it after?
No, it was during the marathon, like as the marathon was happening.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you get to do it?
I think number one, like we were too late to do like a normal entry system.
Is it also a lottery?
I think it is a lottery.
I wonder-
Puma
oh,
South Africa not that in there, huh?
Perhaps not. And also my most recent marathon time at that point was like when I got invited on this trip was Cape Town Marathon, which obviously I walked for half of. So my time was.
But that was you
great.
came off the injury.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
time wasn't looking great there. So I think they're like, listen, you're not the one. It's like I'm an athlete, I promise.
And then Boston, how long? You went with a friend, or did you just?
Well, we went with Puma. So it was myself, Mike Finch, the editor of Runner's World, and then Ray, who is marketing director of Puma South Africa, Puma Running South Africa. So we went. So it was very cool experience. And those oaks were amazing as well. Lots of fun time.
How was the actual match? So you obviously watched it. And
Yes.
how was the scene there? How's the vibe there? It must be.
I could not comprehend the amount of people supporting and watching that race. It does there's not
I've heard.
Like Cape Town Marathon has nothing on that in terms of the support and the vibes and just the build up. Like the whole week we were there, it was the whole city was like buzzing for this race, you know? And you couldn't I couldn't even watch it. I was there before the marathon even started and I still didn't manage to find myself like an actual on the side of the road support.
I wonder if there's
That's
more.
Position.
Can you imagine that as a runner on the just
Yeah.
running
Do you
through
think-
that? It must be.
Yeah, it must be insane.
Do you think there's more of a sense of camaraderie now there after what happened?
I'm
Yeah,
sure
I think
they
that
pulled
marathon
together.
has a place in the hearts of the people as well, which I think also impacts how well it is supported.
And correct me if I'm wrong. There were 7 majors, and we might be the 8th. Or was there not 8 majors because of Japan? And apparently we might be
I think
next
there's
year.
6 and we might be the 7th.
No.
No.
I don't know what.
I think there were 7
majors
majors, and now there's 8. I think Japan just became
London,
Berlin,
Berlin, Tokyo,
Boston.
Tokyo is one, right?
I think they just became
I don't
one.
know,
they
you're,
just
you're the
became one.
runner.
Yeah, you're
Boston,
the runner in the family.
Boston, and
New York.
Yeah, New York,
New York.
definitely.
Did you say Berlin?
Sydney,
Yeah.
Oh, Sydney.
Sydney.
Is Sydney one of the majors?
Tokyo Marathon, held in March. Boston,
Mhm.
Patriots Day in April. London Marathon, Berlin Marathon, Chicago Marathon, New York Marathon. And then it said Boston Marathon again, which is weird. And then
Honourable
Sydney
mention
was the
twice.
inclusion to be the 7th.
Okay, and then obviously Cape Town Marathon's pushing.
Yeah, Cape Town Marathon. Apparently, I heard that we potentially by next year would be added as the 8th.
Yeah, so they've actually moved next year's race date to May. Have you seen that?
Next
No.
year.
So obviously it's been in October
It's in October, yeah, because we actually entered this year.
This one.
for this
Yeah,
one.
we
As
both.
well.
You did it right.
Yeah.
You're doing the one in October. Yeah, so there's one in October and then there's another one in May. Cape
But
Town Marathon.
I wonder if May will be a lottery then.
I'd be interested to see. So my plan, this is my grand scheme, is to focus on marathon running until May next year and then do a sub 3 at Cape Town.
Is
Sub 3 is serious.
Cape Town's quite flat, right?
Cape Town is quite flat. It's a good route to run a PB on.
I think
It's
there's
not
only
the
about a hill.
flattest, but it's
There's some hills in town, I believe.
there is, yeah, because
Yeah.
you come up through Company Gardens. Is that what it's called? Company
It's
Gardens?
called Company
yeah.
Gardens, yeah, but I've
Yeah.
never run that route. You were saying about Boston, so you there, so with the brands, they send you all the stuff, and obviously they reach out, and then was that how? Because you also did a Red Bull thing recently. You went to Ibiza.
So, like, different content creators go about this differently. Like, some content creators will reach out to brands saying, like, this is what I can do for you. Like, let's work in this capacity. I don't really do that. What I try to do is just make really good content, and then they come to you, you know? So, they're both Red Bull and Puma. Those were both invites from them.
So what was the actual experience with them? With Red Bull at least?
So with Red Bull, we were doing an event called Ibiza Royale. So they flew us out to Ibiza, Spain, and it was like an obstacle course race, basically. It was just a lot of fun. Like, it wasn't really even related to what I do, but it was just a lot of fun. They put us up in this like fancy hotel, and we were there for like 5 days or something, just doing obstacle course races
Bull's
and
a cool
eating nice
company.
food. Great company. Love Red Bull.
Looking for a sponsor.
Yeah, please sponsor me and them also. And then for the Puma thing, they wanted a South African running content creator to be on the trip to create content. So that's why I was invited.
I'm trying to think of another South African local Cape Townian content creator that's, I mean, besides I guess Chad, but he's kind of a mixed blend of.
Chad hasn't done Comrades.
I mean, the man can run though.
He can, right?
He's a good
can
runner.
run.
He's doing some good trails as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah, he's-
actually, well, I can't speak about it yet, but we actually we'll be on a trip coming up together.
Oh, really?
Chad and I and like a couple of other locals.
But we need to go on trips.
Yeah, invite.
Like,
Couple of locals,
I can
she
also
said.
film
Yeah,
videos.
we're locals,
Yeah.
there we
I
go.
can also film a video.
So you said you wanted to do the sub 3 in May.
Yeah, so that's
But
my
that's
next
like
plan.
a change up in training, eh?
A huge change up in training. So up until now, obviously my focus has been ultra distance running, and I still want to do the ultra distance running. But I would really like to get that sub 3 marathon, because that will be the final nail in the coffin. Not a single person can question my running ability once I have that sub
Who
3.
questions your running ability these days?
There's like 3 of them, and I'm pissing off.
What is your best time on a marathon?
Currently, my best time on a marathon is 3.5.
Okay, what's
But I
that?
haven't really
Okay.
raced, and that was done during 2 oceans, if that makes sense. So
Okay,
like
yeah.
my
3.5
ability
is-
is much better than that.
450-ish, isn't it? 3.5.
Yeah, well, it's just 5 minutes, just under
4:59.
5 minutes. Yeah. So I would need to obviously get a lot faster than that. But I don't I think given the amount of time between then, like if I lock in and I actually do proper
plenty of
sessions,
If you run in the night
I've got
hours.
enough time. Huh?
If you run in the fast hours.
If I run in the fast hours, yeah. I'll change them halfway.
Because I mean, there's obviously, I mean, in certain in certain sports, there's obviously different goals that people want to achieve, and obviously
Yeah.
the sub 3 in marathon is
It's a big goal, especially for a female. A sub 3 is very respectable. I
I mean,
would say.
sub 3 for anyone's really respectable,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, like if I can get to the point where I can run a sub 3, I'll win local races, like no questions asked.
So-
In terms of?
Like
Yeah,
like any
marathon.
marathon, like I would be at least in the top 3.
So is that the target?
Yeah, I want to get to that kind of conditioning.
Okay.
And then off the back, the problem is it's very close to Comrades, so I won't have done as much mileage as I should have for
Yeah.
Comrades. But I think with sub 3 conditioning, I can quite easily just go and do another bull ride.
So maybe not so much a content athlete, but more an athlete then.
Well, why not both?
You did make a leaderboard in Comrades.
I did.
Tell us about it.
Top 20 most followed athletes
That's nuts.
in the entire race. So it's just Gerda, Carla, and Rachel. Yeah, no, it's very cool. I almost fell over when I saw that. I was like, really?
Did they give you like how many people were following you?
They did. It's on the list. I'm not sure what it was, but it's like, so it's basically like people that were were tracking me on the app because you know you can add
Yeah,
people.
sure. But I'm saying,
Like,
was
add
it like
people.
1,000 people following you or whatever? Did they give you
It was
that number?
over 3,000.
1,000.
Over,
That's
I think.
wild.
Which is a lot if you think about, because they have to go onto the app, they have to search up my name, they have to add me. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's actually, it's
I mean,
actually like,
that is
a
a
lot,
hell of a mission. That's a hell of a mission.
It's a mission. It's a mission.
I mean, I wasn't following you, but
Let's go.
So was it Gerda first, then Carla?
I think it was her.
Kata was first.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Carla-
Carla was 4th or 5th because there was a couple of guys.
Yeah.
What's his name? The guy that won?
Tete.
Tete won. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was 2nd or 3rd, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Dutch guy.
Yeah.
What were you gonna ask?
No, I was just thinking about Tete and Gerda because those were the 2 fastest.
Did you see the
down
oak though
runs.
that ran 3:30 a K for 70Ks?
Yes.
The male leader.
The male
Yes.
lead. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's great.
What did you think of that in the statement that was released afterwards?
I
So
didn't-
for those that don't know, he basically said, "Oh no, I was supposed to be pacing for 50Ks, but I love being in front of the camera so much that I just kept going," and then he blew up at 70Ks.
No, but well, I didn't see the statement, but I mean that sounds spot on from what I was seeing on TV because he was out there at one point. He was just dancing at the people on the street.
So
and he
people
was-
kind of were falling on one of two sides. Either they're like, "Oh, I love it for him, classic scenes," and other people are like, "He's a disgrace to the sport."
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I thought it was nice. He was interacting with people.
I personally don't see any harm in it. I mean, the issue for him is that he's now not going to be marathon ready for like Soweto or something because he's
'Cause he
overdone
overdid
it.
it.
Yeah, he's
yeah, but I'm sure
legs
he
are
took this
broken
into
now.
account, right?
Probably not.
Can we talk about?
Got a lot of airtime there.
Like, did you not
And
see
he
it?
pulled up at
His
the
coach
camp,
released a
yeah.
statement. His coach was like, he's an idiot.
I mean, yeah. So Kurdistan, eh?
Yeah, classic. Once again.
355
Per K.
per K
Mm.
for 90 Ks, and still smiling at the end. That's.
Although I will say, I do think she looked a little bit more tired than she does most years this year.
No,
I
mean,
don't know if she noticed
she was
that.
She was more-
strong
she was
until
more
like
quiet.
maybe the last 10.
Yeah.
You don't do 355 per K for 90 Ks and not hurt towards
No,
the end.
exactly,
But she
exactly.
wore it well. I mean,
She
to
did.
run that for 90 Ks.
No, she's
I
amazing.
mean, she
Yeah,
dropped
it's like,
everyone in
can't
her
be
group that she
questioned.
did besides 2 guys, I think.
And she's now run.
And
how
someone
many
else
years?
led for a long way, hey? But she
And
just stuck to her guns. She stuck to her pacing.
I think that was her 5th win,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
wild. And she got the record fastest time, extra 500 grand for beating the PB on the time, which is wild. And
Oh, did she PB this year?
Mm.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
she PB'd.
Okay. That's actually amazing because the course is long. It was a long course.
Talking about knowledge of the Comrades, do you know when Comrades was started?
When Comrades was started.
And it's, you know, it's the oldest ultra marathon in the world.
Oldest, longest.
It's the oldest ultramarathon in the world.
Oldest and largest ultra marathon in the world.
Huh.
Started in
Well,
1921.
yeah, you actually cannot believe the amount of people that line up for that race, considering the distance.
I read it's 20,000 runners from 60 countries,
Yeah.
which is
Wild,
crazy.
20,000.
20,000
I thought it'd
runners
be more.
into
Thought it'd be
each
more than
other's-
20,000.
Yeah.
20,000 is a lot, trust me. It took
I'm
me
just
like 5 minutes to get across the
re-
line, and I was
no.
only in Group E.
Granted. But I think if in terms of
Oh, this
like
is interesting.
the cycle tour race, like at its peak was probably like 35,000 people. And that's a cycle
Really?
race.
That was the biggest time cycle race in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
35,000 people on our roads is just dangerous on the bikes. I mean, now we're at 20,000 and there's accidents galore.
Yeah.
But how's this? The race was started by World War II veteran Vic Clapham to honor South African soldiers killed in the war,
Huh.
which is pretty
And the
interesting.
Vic Clapham is now a medal. I think that's the finisher's medal.
Oh, really?
Is there not a point during the race where
Yes.
everyone goes over and touches a stone?
Oh, there's Arthur's seat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're supposed to. I didn't do it this year, but maybe that's why my second half wasn't as good.
That's what they say, it's bad luck
Because that's what
after
it is. It's like you're supposed to. They give out roses, and you take the rose and you lay it at Arthur's seat, and then he's gonna like watch over you for the second half of the race.
Who's
Uh,
Arthur?
That's a great question. You should probably look that up also.
I'll look up.
Like I have been told this story before.
What
but I
was,
don't
what was
remember.
his surname? Does anyone know?
Just search Arthur's seat. You'll come
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
No, wasn't it
it'll
Arthur's
come up.
Corner? Was it Arthur's Seat?
No, it's seat.
Comrades Arthur, something like
I
that.
think he's like done a lot of Comrades, or he was involved. He's won a lot of Comrades, or I'm not sure. But I didn't do it this year, so maybe that was the issue. Maybe that's why I blew at 70 Ks. Was the lack of a rose at Arthur's seat. And then they didn't give me a rose at the end either. Hey,
But I thought roses for only certain people, like on the Bachelorette or something.
no, they give no, they give everyone roses except me. Everyone except me got a rose.
All 20,000.
Not everyone gets a rose.
Well, I got a rose last
We
year.
run out of roses.
Yeah.
Maybe they ran out.
Well,
I
they
don't know.
did.
Well, I saw someone else walking around with a rose. I was like, what the hell? It's my rose.
And I can't remember from the first pod, Rach, did we actually ask you why you started running?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Because, I mean, have you always been inclined?
Well, I grew up in a very active family. Like, we're always very active. I used to like doing triathlons when I was younger. So I've kind of like, I've been running or cycling or swimming or participating in some kind of sport for like most of my growing up life. My dad was very into running, and my dad was a Comrades runner, which is why I wanted to run the Comrades. So we were supposed to actually run my first Comrades last year together, but unfortunately he's quite badly injured and still hasn't been able to come back to running.
How many has your dad done?
He's done 6, I think.
Okay, and this is your second now?
Second now, yeah. So my dad is the one that inspired me to run Comrades. But in terms of running, I don't know, I didn't really have a hobby a couple of years, whenever it was 2.5 years ago. And I was like, I need to like get into something that's like for me. So I started running, and yeah, now I love it.
And that's when you started the channel?
No, I only started a channel 1 year into running. Which is funny though, because now it's like my entire career. So I started running one day, and now that's what I do. It's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see these Comrades medals now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point. Would you like to touch them and feel them?
I have.
Because I know you guys aren't probably going to be able
chance.
to get one of these for yourself, so you might as well
Are
take
you
this
interested in running
opportunity.
Comrades one day?
This might be the only time you get to see one of these.
I'm interested in getting a bigger medal.
I'm interested
Yeah,
in it
because the
all.
ones at Ironman are quite large, hey? I
They
saw they're
use,
quite
they use,
sizable.
I mean, they
It's got
go
some
on-
good weight to it, though. Yeah.
Really? Looks like a 5
Are you guys
coin.
the type of oaks that are going to get like a tattoo after you finish?
You know, I said I'm going to get the tattoo, and I told my girlfriend she nearly divorced me. She's like,
Preemptive
you are
divorce.
not getting an Iron Man tattoo. I'm like,
Oh, no
"It's my body."
ways. Do you get this engraved?
I got it engraved. So at the after party. So okay, this is actually a fun
That's
story.
Does it say
Insane.
Big Dog?
It says
Yes,
Big
of course
Dog.
it says Big Dog.
Oh, I saw that live on your Insta or
Yes.
something.
Big Dog.
So this is how Comrades. Obviously, we're all too broken on the Sunday,
So
right?
if I wear it, is it bad luck?
Yeah, you can wear it, of course. It's foreshadowing for when you attempt this.
I feel like
So
I feel like I could do it in under 8.
Before the story, so why do you have 3?
So we've got our Bill Rowan from 2024. We've got our Bill Rowan from 2025. And then if you run Comrades twice in a row for your first 2, you also get a back-to-back. So it's like part of the pyramid scheme.
Only
So and then if you do 10, then you get like a green number. Doesn't really
Okay,
do
for
anything
sure.
for you, but
If you do 10, you get it.
it's called a green number. So you get like a special number.
green number?
Number. I know.
just
Keep that between you and your chick. Okay.
and it's only your number, right? For the rest of
Yeah, and then it becomes your number.
Yeah.
And then also you get like special, like you get VIP treatments. VIP treatment. It's like you get like a nicer sandwich at the expo.
No,
Kind
but
of
you
vibe.
get that already.
Nothing wrong
I'm
with a
sure,
good sandwich.
I did get a good sandwich at the expo, yeah.
Like a chicken mayo or?
No.
And how
Bacon
did,
BLT.
how did you get it to say Big Dog literally engraved?
Yeah, so this year I had the privilege and honor of being in Umhlanga after the race. So literally the day after, obviously we're all too broken on the Sunday to go out and drink because that's what we all want to do now that training's over. So the next day, starting at 1 p.m, they throw an after party at the George in Umhlanga. I don't know if you guys know Umhlanga well. But anyway, it's like the classic old bar there. And it was, big send, like 2 drinks in, I was like falling over, it was bad. But I did last until 8 p.m.
Good
From
answer.
1 p.m.
I was about to say, what time did it start at 6?
It's not bad. It's not bad. And they were doing metal engravings there. I think Red Bull was doing them. So I think because I was like sort of, I was like, engravings, do it for me. Yeah, but it was a good send for sure. There was Carla was there, having a
Molinaro.
massive send. Yeah. They were dancing on tables, her and Gerda.
Lovely.
Yeah, nice oaks though. We all had a nice chat. Very nice people.
And are you going to do it next year?
Yeah, I have to,
Continues.
unfortunately.
It was going to be like a yearly thing until you can't run anymore.
I think so. I think some years I'm not going to be as focused on the Comrades. So I think next year I'm not going to be as focused on achieving a certain time at the Comrades. I'm going to do it, but my focus will be the sub-3 marathon. Whereas the following year, maybe I'll be like, okay, let me lock it and do a silver. You know?
Well, the following year, I think, is the Centurion,
100th.
right? Yeah, and so the 100th, and I believe I heard, I don't know if it's official, that you have to do the year before to then do that one.
I wasn't aware of that. but that works for me.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Some allegations of falsehoods.
And Rach, in the next couple of months, leading up to anything big, or what's the next leading into summer? What does it look like for you?
I've got a cool marathon coming up that's out of the country, which will be shared about soon. And then I've got.
This must be with Chad.
And then
it's a trail walk. It's a trail walk.
Trail walk. Sorry. No, and then I've got. I'm going to do Cape Town Marathon. I'm going to do Gun Run.
Are you going to pace me for Cape Town Marathon? I remember you said.
What are you trying to run there?
I'm going under 3. No, honestly, it'll be my second marathon, and it's less than a month.
I think I'll try and do like a 3:15. I'd say in October.
3:15 is decent.
Kind of like sets me up. Kind of in the right, because like in the right place to now go on to do a 3. Almost.
And you don't think you can carve off at 15?
I think I can by May.
Yeah,
I think
so too.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible for me to do a sub 3 by October, but I think that it will take the enjoyments out of the process. I think I'll just have to be so locked in. I'll have to be. I can't drink.
But I think that's quite a mature decision to break it into 2.
Yeah.
Because number 1 will be better for your body.
Yeah.
So it gives you that longevity.
And also, I've got the advantage of being young. I've got all the time in the world to do these things. So I don't have to rush it. Unlike you, of course.
I know, it's hectic. I'm closing on 36.
You're like, anyway, that's our time.
Still my prime self. But yeah, so the next couple of months is just focusing on that. And is the channel anything else that's going like big in your life? You know, is there a boyfriend?
There is a boyfriend.
Oi,
okay. Progress since last time. Yeah, no, there is one of those. Yes.
New.
Out of province. So I decided
out of province.
So
the hinge went like
many bad experiences that I had to go interprovincial. I had to outsource.
Oh, you met him on the Comrades.
No. Great guess though.
That'd be wild.
Yes. So there's one of those.
Okay. Anything outside of that as well? So Jared's, you do a charity run every Thursday.
Yeah, we do. When are you going to show up to one of those?
It just conflicts with our ride on Thursday morning.
Last Thursday of every month, there is a charity run at Jared's, which conflicts with his riding.
Well, actually, if it's only the last
what time
Thursday,
is it?
we can.
Mornings.
It was morning, so 6 for 6:15.
No, but we can do that.
Yeah.
We can make a plan for it.
It's for charity, guys.
Bring
50 Rand donated on your behalf.
We can bring our community.
Yeah, please. That would be great.
So
it's happening next Thursday.
Oh. That's quite soon.
You're like, whoa.
Let's not rush into this.
Let's take our time with these decisions.
I'm happy with the next Thursday.
Yeah, we can commit to that.
Okay, yes. So please do come to that last Thursday of every month.
What's the charity?
So we do it 3-month segments. So we were doing it for the dogs before, for like an SPCA setup situation.
The small dogs?
The small dogs. Big dogs take care of small dogs. That was the
line.
That was the line. But now we're doing it for ladles of love. So it's like feeding.
I worked for ladles for a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
It's like Charlie on a date.
You worked for ladles or you were at ladles?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I did a couple sessions helping deliver the food to the people.
Or eating the food.
And I took, my chick wanted to give back to the community. I said, well, let's go on a date. And I took her to Ladles of Love and we helped people.
Okay.
So you got in there by giving people food?
We wanted to do something charitable together, so she didn't know what we were doing, and I thought it was very sweet.
Unfortunately, the episode isn't long enough to unpack this.
Thanks for coming on, Rach.
Yes, thanks, Rach.
Most welcome.
I'm glad we know everything about the Comrades now, and the listeners are well versed for their Comrades attempt next year.
So when are you going to do it, though, is the ultimate question. And are you going to do it?
I'm definitely keen to do it.
My dad asked me if I was going to do it last week or something, and I just 90K is to me just sounds...
Because you only have so much time left, how old are you?
I think maybe before I'm 40, which is like another 10 years.
Oh, I thought you were much later than that, you're fine.
Yeah, but have you seen some of the ages of the chaps doing it there?
Yeah, that's true. Some of the people coming past me, I was like, ooh.
There was one, I thought he was about a pig at the finish line.
Did you see that? The guy that did 50. He's done 50 though in his defense.
No, fair enough.
Imagine 50 years of training for Comrades.
Oh, nightmare.
50 years
I feel
of
like your whole life is just Comrades then.
I mean, yeah.
So you can do one?
Do it with me.
No, I'll do one.
The down or the up?
I don't mind.
I think down.
Yeah, down is better in my opinion. Do the down. Do the 100.
Isn't it harder?
People say it's harder. I, as we've established, don't really like running up hills. So for me, down's always better.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll probably do well on the hills because you.
I think if you
the
have
mountains
weaknesses
are-
in your legs, going down it might be a problem.
Cankles are going to struggle there.
No cankles, yeah.
But we digress. Rach, maybe just in closing, do you have any key message for our community who's struggling to become their prime self?
Key message. I think taking from my experience, I was doing something like I would have never thought that I would end up making content about running and running full time. Like that is my full-time job now. So I think for me, my key message would be identify what your passion is and then pursue it. Because if you're passionate about something, you will breed success from it. And that's been my experience. And I think it's true for most people. I think if you find something that you're truly passionate about and you pursue it and you love it, it will be like beneficial and you will be successful in it.
You'll never work a day in your life, as they say.
You will never work a day in your life.
Love that.
Love that.
Is that,
So you're
is
gonna
that
quit-
actually quite inspiring?
You're
Are you
going to quit,
inspired?
you're quitting your job tomorrow. I can feel the science is going
He's
out the
like,
window.
I love that.
Yeah, I've heard it your first.
Yeah, hit it up first.
I love that. We're quitting the podcast.
No, the podcast is not his job.
Yeah,
I mean, it should be though.
yeah, soon.
Soon.
But thanks, Rachel. Appreciate your time, as
Yeah.
always.
Always
And
good
I'll
to
see you
be
tomorrow
here.
for that run.
Do
eh?
I get to take the champagne home?
You brought it.
I did bring it.
Do we get to take the medals home?
Deal.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Rach.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next week.